People have requested that we add sound, so I don't know if the sound's working. We'll find out. Maybe it's not turned on, but CJ's left. She had to go pay some kind of a utility bill. The driver drove in. Now she's gone to the car to change some equipment, take my glasses away, and we're just wandering around saying, oh, it's been a week or so since we played. He wants to play in the play box. A lot of times it might look like I'm just wandering around, but every chance he bumps into the rope, he gets a chance to say, well, I'd like to go look over there, but Dennis wants me to over here. So we're going to look at the tractor. I don't know, that felt like it was going to fall off. So we just wander over here. It maybe not look like a real formal leading session, but a lot of times people make too big a deal about everything has to be perfect. If you notice there, he might have been thinking about checking that elbow out with his teeth, but maybe what you didn't see was a little bump with my elbow that said, I don't know if we're on. Is it turned on? Oh, it is on. Okay, we have confirmation that we're not just wandering around. There's a lot going on right here. He's wondering why we're doing so much talking. People have the wrong expectations. A lot of times they think this is a Mustang. We should be careful. No, he's a horse. Mustangs have the advantage of being a Mustang because from the day that they were born, they were in a herd situation where if they got obnoxious, if they didn't treat Mama right or got too reckless, you said, go over there. If Mama was busy, Aunt Mary or Uncle Charlie said, hey, discipline, that's not acceptable. Well, we've invited him into our world, so we can't make the demands so difficult so soon that we knock the try out of him. We want him to have as much fun being here as we have fun. I didn't intend when we started this to show everything to everybody. I didn't know that we were being filmed for everybody out there. I thought we were being filmed for Dave and CJ's benefit, so they could look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have only found good. We've never run into bad, so therefore ugly never showed up either. Now, a lot of times people want to stay so busy. Oh, he had to put that on film, but that's not necessarily his opinion. That's a matter of nature. He didn't say, oh, whiz off. He said, no, that's just something. I'm glad you stopped. I can do that. Now, if he's doing number 2, we'd keep on moving. But that wasn't my idea for him to stop and put that on film. I was just trying to stop and say, hey, sometimes we just have to stop because maybe I want to check the mailbox, or maybe I want to go over here and look at this pretty tractor. Now, I don't know if the camera shows, but I didn't drag him up here. This is his first real look at it. We'll watch the sharp ends. We're not going to let him climb in the seat. He's too young to drive. But we don't want to knock the curiosity out of him. You watch those expressions. People drag their horse here, they drag their horse here, they push him there, and demand this, but they never check in. I'll see if I can get over here and maybe we see his expression from that side. Now he's got dogs barking at him from behind the camera. Oh well, dogs do what they do. We watch his expression. Is he happy? Is he mad? Is he glad? Right now he doesn't care. But maybe he'll go up and take another look at the tractor. What are his ears doing? They're being curious too. When they're going back and forth like this, he's trying to decide. Maybe when I grow up I can drive that thing. Maybe not. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that that may have to stay there the rest of his life, because I don't think he's ever seen it move, because it's usually gone by the time he comes in here. By the way, this is, I think, his third time in the arena. One of the things we need to do is stop and let the horse reflect on what we're doing. Might not look like we're doing much. We're doing a lot. Can I take the lead rope? Rub him all over. Rub him all over. Find the spots that are ticklish. Find the spot that say, oh, there, you missed a spot. You here. Oh, there. Over here. Over here. What do the ears think? Oh, a lot of people take that and try to do their ears, and their ears are locked back hard. That horse is having a little difficult time working that out. That yawn, these are things. He just turned loose of some kind of information. By the way, he said, I got an itch. Now, I'm not demanding that he turn around. He kind of put himself into a pressure situation. I just wait to give him a chance to think about it. Maybe if we just let him go, if he doesn't go over and operate the camera, that's what we're going to protect, is the camera. But maybe if he wants to roll, hey, let him roll. It'll wash off. In the meantime, we're sharing some time. That's all we're doing, is putting in time. Let him maybe not chew on the rope, but don't make a big deal of it. Ropes don't come cheap, so you got to put a limit. How long can you? Well, he can test it, but he doesn't need to abuse it. Some people say, oh, don't let him come into your space. Depends on what his attitude is. If he came in with his ears pinned back and his teeth hanging out and saying, I'm going to move you over there, or I'm going to attack you, well, that's something different. Maybe he hasn't had an opportunity to check me from behind. It's all right. Those aren't, I hate you bites. Those are, wait a minute. It's been warm. What's this? And it's got sound on it. This is something new. We went from 85, 90 degrees last week to, wait a minute, we had ice the other morning. So it is what it is. He said, maybe I got an itch there. Maybe I got an itch there. Oh, he's got a few tangles in here. Well, looky here. We won't make a big deal out of it. But maybe we have to see, what does he think about that? Not much. But he decided not to stick his nose in it. He said, Grandma told me don't put my nose in the fan. But if I'm just playing with my rope, he should just check out and say, oh, it's okay. Maybe someday we'll want to throw a rope way over there. Or maybe there's a spot on the ground that represents that cow that's getting away. So we throw the rope over there. It doesn't matter. One of the biggest things going on here is imagination. Imagination is something they took away from you the first day you went to school. Imagine I'd like to go over and sit by CJ. Teacher says, no, Johnny, you sit over there. Susie, you get over there. Billy, you get over there. We got a fire drill. Okay. Billy, you line up behind Susie. Susie, you line up behind George. George, you line up between. And then all of a sudden the real deal comes and it all falls apart. You move along from preschool into the first grade. Teacher comes to class one day and she holds up a blue crayon. Says, this is blue. Then over here, she puts a big 1 on the chalkboard. This is a 1. Everything in the picture that has a 1 on it, paint it blue. Number 2, this is a green crayon. Everything that has a number 2 on it, paint it green. She gets up to 3, and it's pink, yellow, or some other color, and she goes through the system. Then hands a kid a picture and wants them all to look alike. Hey, let them paint them any way they want. They'll find out soon enough the sky is blue, the grass is green. Everything else can be any color they want. But no, we get pushed in to being just like everybody else. So sometimes look what everybody else is doing. If it works, fine, try that. If it's not working for them, it probably won't work for you either. So skip that one. In the meantime, see what works for you and your horse. See, that wasn't a big pull. He just decided, oh, we might check that and see if it goes the other direction. Oh, let's see what happens here. Oh, that's not bad. There's a little apprehension there. Some of this stuff you might be cautious. I'm cautious, but I've done this for 50 years. But if you think your horse might have a tendency to kick, maybe you do it from over here. Just because I do it, don't necessarily try it at home. Give it some thought. If you think it'll work out, just give it a try. This is not unusual for this guy. We've been playing with him a couple of months now. He's not trying to take over, but what he's doing, he's saying, oh, in the eyes of everybody else, I'm kind of a teenager. He's checking his limits. He's trying to see what he can get away with. It's not necessarily mean. There. But there. Now, we didn't mean to it. I just got my fingers in here. He put the pressure. They're kind of locked in there. So we're going to have to work this out. There. We have to work this out. See that tangle? That's why I got tangled in there. Now my thumb's tangled in there. See, he might think that, oh, that. But maybe there's a spot that feels good. Now, when we try to get something done, maybe at the beginning, he doesn't suspect anything. We try to get something done, okay, we might have to work at it the first time. Might be an accident that he got onto it. So we work at it a little bit longer and find out that's an accident. Well, the second time says, no, that's a coincidence. Okay, So we work at it a little bit longer and find out, yeah, he really does understand it. But once we get to 3, we need to stop and go do something else for a while. Let it soak in. A lot of people get to 3 and all of a sudden they want it to be perfect. Don't worry about perfect. Perfect will get there if you have enough variety to keep it interesting. And it will get better if he has a little time to soak or reflect on it. Because we're just having fun. See? So maybe. Now, there. See? See, he's willing to go over there, but he's not willing to stay. But that's my finger. I'm not pushing on him. He's trying to push my finger out of the way. He's finding out it's not necessarily comfortable. Now what do you do? Oh my golly, he got his foot tangled in the rope. What should we do about that? Oh, maybe we'll just lift that foot. There. That's what we do with the rope. We don't have to go any big place. But he's pointing out things that we need to review sometimes. Now, if I put my thumbs up, I can take up the slack and I can close my fingers one at a time. Doesn't matter which foot came first. What matters is that he didn't panic. I can add a little pressure. Oh, he thinks it. See, sometimes you have to adjust to what's going on. My personal lead ropes, I take that silly popper off. It's not my rope. But my reasons, maybe someday when I want to swing like this to get him to back up, that popper has a sharper point that can hit him in the eye, not intentionally, but it's just something that can happen. Now that's my opinion. Everybody's welcome to their own. I'd rather be hit with a blunt object if I was going to be hit, if I had a choice, rather than a sharp knife. Going around. I'm not going to nag. As long as he keeps moving, allow him to go. But I'm not going to go in endless circles, so we'll see if we can suggest that he stop. You can make it. Now, I watch him creep up on me. I like him to keep his feet where they are. Oh, we're doing okay. Yeah, oh, somebody new came in. It's okay. A lot of times you're with your horse, and all of a sudden you'll see his nose, his ears. You'll see his ear go out that way first. Then you got both ears and a nose. Something's coming. If you watch your horse, you can tell, oh, that's a bicycle. If you watch him a little closer, oh, that's a herd of bicycles. They're quiet and they're sneaky. Trust your horse. But don't be so focused on what you want to get done, you don't notice he has an opinion too. Oh, he found a cat. I bet the cats don't come out to visit him very often. Most of us are right-handed or left-handed. A lot of people, stay there, I want to try to show something, would take their right hand and throw that over. It can be done, but in the meantime, the left hand is just hanging out. It didn't get handier at all. So use the hand on the side that's going to throw the rope. Now, we get him back. He wants to go look at the cat. But looky there. He found pressure on his neck. Someday, there. Now, here, the left hand gets to get into the picture. See? He doesn't have to stand there because we're making a little short video and be perfect. He says, work me, or rather, play with me, work on yourself from where I am, I being him. Work him from where he's at. Don't always take the easy way out. If anybody's lived more than a week, they found out that life is not always easy. And we know anybody that's watched this has lived more than a week because babies aren't that focused yet. Focus. Focus on what we're doing right now. Where is he? He's focused. He said, what are you going to do next? Well, I'm waiting for you to tell me. See? I might say, I'd rather you stand over there. Now look, I got him to move, so there's no sense getting big about the rope. If he goes over there, my intent is going over there. I'll give him a little time to think about it. I'm not going to give him all day, but there, didn't take a whole lot to convince him. He didn't have to go very far, because in this life, there's lots of little jobs that need to be done. Might have to step over there and operate a gate. Sometimes if we can move just a step, we can cause a whole herd of cows, a group of them, to change their mind about where they thought they wanted to go. Doesn't matter what the job, we don't know, but I'll bet sometime in his future he'll get to go out and see a cow. Cow's nothing. He's probably seen moose, elk, deer, all kinds of things. He's probably seen more of them than we have. Unless we were lucky enough to watch 300 elk jump a fence at the same time. Well, one after the other, maybe 6 at a time, 8 at a time, whatever could get between the posts. Don't know. He can't tell me. But he can tell me that every time he wanders off that way, that comes up against his rope. Most people, when they come out to work their horse, they have a plan. But the horse has every other idea, so sometimes their plan doesn't work out. A lot of times planning your day is what you planned on doing, but life comes along and that's what you get done. Be pleased. Learn to be pleased. Be particular. A lot of people think mules and donkeys are stubborn. They're not. They're particular. They're particular. A mule will take time to think, is this going to hurt? Oh, is it going to hurt or is it going to do something good for me? He'll make that choice. A lot of times a horse will see something, he hasn't got time to think about it. He's got time to be over there. He went 100 feet or a mile and a half. And then he said, well, that wasn't so bad. But he might see it again tomorrow and say, oh, I remember. Because the person remembered, you find out that somebody's horse spooks at that same corner every time. You go ride that horse around that corner and the horse didn't even notice. Oh, you find out that the horse didn't spook there every time. The owner had expectations, and so they got braced up. They got ready for the spook, and they created the spook. Some people think horses have opposition reflex. Opposition reflex is a man-created thing. He didn't have enough patience. So he got rude or crude, and then all of a sudden a horse says, oh, this is probably going to hurt. I better tighten up. I better tighten up. So, pressure is a wonderful thing. It can be too much or too little. Pressure has to be just right. But everybody's heard about Goldilocks, the three bears. This porridge is too hot, this porridge is too cold, this is just right. Doesn't matter. You have to use enough pressure to get the job done. No more, no less. If we say, oh, that's not working, and give up and do something else, it'll never work. Or it'll work once in a while when all the cards are lined up right. See, he's telling me that shoulder's a little stiff. There. If a little bitty fly can get him to move or step over, I should be able to. There. Now, come back here. See, he's a baby. See, he's trying to move my hand. He said, wait a minute. No. No. There. So sometimes you have to just hang in there. It's the release, not the amount of pressure that teaches him. Because he's so focused on this new coat, he hasn't got time to think about maybe moving that over. Moving that over. Moving that over. Yeah. Okay. He's saying he's too bored. He wants to stand around and chew on me. We'll just put his feet busy. Not going to get mad, not going to get mean, not going to beat him as hard as I can for 10 seconds and let it get over it. No, we'll just put his feet busy. He's bored. Yeah, he'd run into the end of that. We don't care. We don't care. We don't stop the camera. What you see is what you get. He got bored and he decided it's time for him to take over. No, it's just what horses try to do. They take over and then they take off. Well, now, we'll give him a chance to see if he can come back and be a gentleman again. You know, We're not going to keep him going till his tongue hangs out. We're not going to wait till he falls in a heap. And say, oh, now I'm going to invite, oh, I was just going to invite him in. He invited himself. But we'll give him the opportunity to just hang out and be cool. Don't be chewing. There. Now, there. You stand there. We work on patience. Sometimes while you think we're working on his patience, I'm still working on my patience. Till I got up about the 7th grade, I used to fight. When I started losing fights, I started gaining more patience. Kids probably aren't even allowed to fight anymore. They're so used to watching bad guys, or even good guys, kill the other guy, that the fight is nothing. Not unless it's Bruce Lee or somebody's equivalent that, wow, they're doing double backflips over the rafters and under the elbows. Wait a minute. Yeah, there. He can learn to be patient. Now, we've never tied him up before, but he's bumped into the end of the line. Maybe some of you saw him get his first bath. The hardest part was coming in this barn. The second hard part was stepping on the rubber mats. And we wrapped the rope around one time, and I just held it. But before we ever did that, we took up the slack. There. He found out, wait a minute. If he wants to pull on that, I'm as steady as a fence post. He's going to find his own slack. You don't have to be tied hard and fast to a post, to a hitching post, a high line, and then pull back and fight that. He can learn. Oh, he says, I think I'll go over there. Here's that post again. He can learn he has limits. I'm the post. We'll wait and see what happens. Oh, he found out the light's better over here. Doesn't matter. I'm the post. Don't step on the rope. Now, I'd like him to stay there. So I'm going to try to leave. That's all right. Again, posts don't walk off, but maybe they give you a better camera angle. See? He's tuned in to me leaving. He wants to go. Sometimes I want him to stay there. So we have to remind him, stay there. There. Now, let's see when he starts. Here. Now, he's running out of slack. Oh, there. There. That's what we want. But now, you don't come and you don't chew on the post. You don't chew on the rope. See? There are a few restrictions. They're not laws carved in stone. They're restrictions. Now, I'd like you to stand over there for a while. That's probably far enough. Yeah, let the camera get another view. But they can't see him licking his lips, chewing, and saying, oh, this is a pretty good deal. TJ, I don't know how long you want to let this go on or what, but we want to emphasize that if we have enough to offer, We could stay out here until we get too cold, or we get thirsty, or we have to take a potty break. But if you've only got a little bit to offer, well then, try to find out where he was the last time you played with him and see if he can still do it. People would get more done if they would come out and play with their horse 10 minutes every day. If they could do that Monday through Friday, they'd be ready to go for a ride if the horse was physically ready. It's not going to work for us, but it'll do wonders for you. But a lot of people have such a busy schedule, they get up, they run, grab a cup of coffee, piece of toast, out the door. Maybe they send their kids, maybe they go to work. They come home, they throw something over the fence for the horse, and they don't see him till Saturday. Then Saturday, they're in a rush because grandma's coming, somebody's coming, and I only got 20 minutes, and they're so busy, they can't understand why their horse can't get in the groove and just go do something. If you haven't got much to offer your horse, maybe you should buy a motorcycle. Start out with a tricycle. It takes time. Time. It's not just you the hero, you the conqueror, you the dictator, and you the slave. It's a partnership. Find out to have a little bit of fun. Oh, we got 2 wraps. 2 wraps on a shorter rope. What are we going to do? I'm not pulling. I might hold a conversation. We're just playing with our horse. Things fly through the air sometimes. Now we don't want to get him in the feed bucket. So we kind of direct. You go that way. No, I know, that looked like a good place to have lunch. I'm not asking him to go anywhere. I'm being a post again. I'm holding a conversation. He's trying to debate. So even though I'm swinging this nasty rope, it's not directed for his feet to go anywhere, but he has to learn not to pull. He's pulling the post. He might be winning a little bit, but it's his ears that are suffering the consequences. Now, there, just before he decided, oh, that's not working, he threw his head up once or twice. That's a try. He says, I think I got this figured out. So, we see. This doesn't mean anything. He doesn't have to back up. My body didn't say back up. But he's not pulling near as hard. But he's still pulling. So let's fix this. Doesn't matter what the stimulation is. Here's his head. Here's his head. There's his feet. Let him know. He's not going to convince that post to pull out of the ground. Hopefully you didn't have tied to a spindly little whisker that's going to chase him when it does come out. Let's see if we can play jump rope. I said, let's see. I didn't say we'd do it. I said, well, we have to see. There we go. We might make it. Now, This jump rope is a little harder for kids to come in, but little kids could probably figure that out. He's about to stop. He's about to stop. Doesn't matter. There. Now, it's actually hitting the ground. Now, it's not fair to, hey, Johnny, come over. Don't back out that door. We might have to change tack. We might have to hold a conversation. I'm not pulling, I'm holding. I also have this foot back here, so when his feet turn loose, I don't fall on my head. There. Now, just because I wanted to play jump rope and he wanted to leave, doesn't mean we failed. It means we adjusted to fit the situation. The situation got to be where it's borderline dangerous. So, wait a minute. We're not going to learn anything if he goes in there and scrapes a leg. But looky here. We're holding that conversation again. We're holding that conversation. We adjust to fit the situation. Now, out here in the middle, we're still saying, this is what we're doing. Doesn't matter. In the round corral, we wouldn't have all these there. That's all we wanted. Now, that was one. Took a long time to get to one. Maybe if the horse was really spooked, we'd have to start like this. Let's hold this conversation again. There's that post. There. See? Maybe if we want to play jump rope, maybe we better say, Red Rover, let Johnny come over. Now, when our post left, maybe we can find a place out there to stop. Now there, what did he run into? He ran into the post again. Some people might think this is like watching paint dry. But we're getting a lot done. Now, I am causing his feet to move. I'm allowing him to stand still. But he's going to wake up and find out he's doing all the work and I'm just standing here watching it. What happened there? I bet he saw my hand go up there once and point. And he said, oh, that's kind of close to that. Look at there. There. There's all kinds of ways to take up the slack. That's how heavy it is. Just as heavy as the slack. When the slack is gone, give to it. Throw with the hand that's on the side of the rope. Throw back with the other side. Oh, his ears are too tall. It's all right. These might look like little mistakes. They're not. They're training situations. It's not a perfect world. All of a sudden you think everything's perfect, and all of a sudden it goes to all the other way. So if we have a few little challenges, you say, oh, he ran out of slack. He has to find a post once in a while. It's no different. If he can find that post and that security of that post right here on the ground, then we don't have to have him pulling on us. You don't have to hold a rope in a death grip like that all the time. He can run around on slack, and if he's going the wrong direction, you give him, oh, and he can change his mind. You can cause him to change his mind because he's made allowances for mistakes. He's been allowed to run into that. But if you teach him to lean on that all the time, you wonder why you have a stiff neck, why your back hurts, why your arms, oh, I should have spent 10 more minutes in the gym instead of 15 minutes with the horse, or 3 or 4 minutes with the horse. Teach him to appreciate that slack. He can appreciate being able to stand there. I might want to just stop and talk to somebody someday. It's pretty hard to stop, or you're looking out over there, there's your best view you've been on, this way up on the mountain. But if I stand on that stump, maybe I can see a little bit more. That's not the time to have him come up and crowd you. That's when you want him to stand there. So you set it up ahead of time. He's been to the mountains. He's been somewhere. But what you might call wow, he might say, oh, well, that's nothing. I've been there, done that. But you still want to keep looking for the wows. Wow. This doesn't apply just to little guys like this. It doesn't matter if your horse is 18 or 80. He can learn this stuff if you put this in gear and think. You know, I was lucky enough to spend some time with Ray Hunt, a little bit of time with Tom Dorrance. A lot of times, you ask Ray Hunt a question, you say, think. You ask Tom Dorrance a question, he'd say, depends. So it all depends on the situation. We can pour gasoline on the fire, or we can just kind of let him run into the post and figure it out himself. When he decides to leave without me, and if I got too excited and said, oh, that's wrong, I can just make him run faster. But if I can just be an anchor, he'll come back. Oh, look at there. He said, he's licking his lips. There's a lot of thought going on. These recesses are more important because he can think about running off over there, coming over here, doing this, or taking a bite out of the coat. CJ, I think this is a good place to quit for today. You know, we've got a lot done. You can shut the camera off. Okay, we started out the barn and I had a brainwave. A lot of people don't pay attention to how they turn their horse loose. So I think it's a good time because it could be snowing next time. So we're going to go outside and turn him loose. The camera comes out where the camera has a good view. Okay. The camera has a good view. And what we want to make sure, pan over there real quick and see those other horses there. Show the other horses. This guy's been away from him for a while, A lot of people just walk out the door, their horse facing that way, turn their horse loose. He's so happy to get out there and get caught up on the good food that he bucks off. But if we turn, put his butt toward those guys, again, he's anxious to get loose. So his head is bumping around, his foot's stomping, he's doing whatever, but we're working on manners. 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 We turn that there. Now, if he wanted to resist, there, if he wanted to leave without me, I've got a hold. But I leave him. He doesn't leave me. If he has to be in a hurry to get over there, he'll turn around, but he says, oh, let me operate the camera instead. He walks off. You leave him, he doesn't leave you.